Hi everybody, I am back today to do the next episode in the Drifter Saga. Do not know what this anime will bring today because the first episode was actually kind of surprising. I did not expect that much comedy, but I was kind of slightly on board with it. Hopefully it gets incorporated a little bit better, so hopefully Drifters 2 brings us the things... Okay, YouTube just kicked in. There you go, it's working. I thought maybe it wasn't working. Yeah, so hopefully Drifters 2 might just bring some more stuff, might bring its A games into action. I'm not too sure. I want to see where they actually kind of end up and what they actually do, because it does seem kind of interesting. So major thing I kind of take away. It seems like a mighty interesting story of guys that kind of go and drift into a different kind of plane, like different world itself. It's like, kind of like, oh, okay, I wonder where it's actually going to go. One side note, I know Luga 1951, I think the name of the anime is, comes out today. Have no idea who's licensed it, in essence I know who's actually subbing it. On top of that, found out the script's done by the dude who did Boku no Pico plus Big Order, so probably I won't cover it, because it's going to be awful. Like, it's going to be complete tripe. Granted, at the same time, it might be hilarious. So I'm kind of in a bit of a two minds at this stage to kind of cover it or not, because I just don't know what's going to be. Because I looked at it, I was like, that seems interesting. Studio Dean, it's done by the character designer of the anime. It's the guy who actually did Medaka Box, so it does actually seem kind of interesting. Then I looked at the script, looked at it was the guy done. I can't even speak English today. I looked at the script, saw it's done by the guy who did Big Order and Boku no Pico, and then said no. So, that's kind of like, nah, just no, not for me, not today. All right, let's bring this over here because I can't tell when Crunchyroll isn't like just kicking. 10 seconds to go. Righty ho, we've got 10 seconds to go. 10 points for my rhyme just then. Like, hopefully people did see that rhyme because that rhyme was pretty freaking awesome. Next time. Christ, my screen decided to die just then. Oh god, Rygan's talking. Right, Footsteps is called the episode. Yeah, my kind of screen decided just to die this then. So I don't have high hopes of the stream today. There we are. Okay, right. We got subs. We've got stuff going. It's going good. It's going good. Okay, so we are starting this in 3, 2, 1. I am pressing play right now. Hopefully that kind of managed to make sense. Such a strange show. I don't know what to make of it. I thought he was Roman. I was like, is he Roman? Didn't want to say anything because I was wrong. Do you like the character designs though? Octoberist. Is he just there to give out pretty freaking awesome like exposition while looking cool doing it? His opening's pretty cool. This is actually a really cool opening. I love this. It's actually That goes like Integra Helsing. Oh man, where does this opening come from? It fits the show really well. I don't know why, it just fits it like perfectly. Because it fits a tone as well, slightly. Minutes to Midnight, Cliff Margreta. I look at the song later on. He was actually out. Dan is a pretty beastly opening. I like the opening. It's a pretty good opening. Probably one of the best of the season. Man knows what he's got to do. He's going to do it. She looks like the mixture of Integra Helsing and the other main girl from Helsing. I can't remember her name off my head right now. I thought he was in his 20s. Oh, yes. Uncensored violence. Mm-mm. Hey, so what time does this air in Japan, then? Because JoJo only airs a couple of hours afterwards, and this is uncensored, but JoJo isn't. I'm confused on that ground. Sound design's pretty cool as well for Xanadu, I'm not gonna lie. There you go to Zed. Granted, I would imagine they couldn't compromise with violence because of Hellsing Ultimate, so they couldn't just censor the violence. Everyone would be pissed. So it's kind of nice they actually kept it. See, it sometimes does fit the show. The actual comedy does kind of fit sometimes. Like when it's needed, it's there. It's when it's not needed, it doesn't really fit the show. Ow. So the magicians then. I'm guessing people do have the knowledge of the Octoberists as well. Then it's kind of interesting. There must be a motive to why they're there then, in that said period of time and world. This guy be thine penis. Damn. Still, props to uncensored violence. Mm-mm. Jesus Christ. There's a dude who's just like murdering all your troops, yo. Like, you might want to go and sort it out, son. We want to claim your land as well, so you might want to go sort it out. Quite like the animation, though. The animation's pretty nice. He's nutty, I don't like him. It's like kind of how insane he is as well. Like, he's just like full blown kind of crazy man. It's kind of cool. He just likes murdering. So this anime's got an area of coolness to it. Like, that's the other major thing to take away. It's kind of got this area of coolness. Like the jazzy soundtrack in the background. Not saying that you just need a jazzy soundtrack to sound cool. It just has this area of coolness to it. I'm pretty sure you should start running. You're pretty much good at this point. Dorift. I'll say the best time the animation kicks in is when it's an extreme close up of the face. That's when it looks really, really nice. Some long shots do look really nice. I think the actual take of the cake animation really is the close ups and the extreme close ups. It look really, really nice. See, right there, for instance. Which now kind of make me want to go and watch Hellsing Ultimate. I wouldn't put him down. He seems pretty like a guy that could probably kill a lot of people really quickly. So you'd say that he might just kill him instantly. See? Isn't he going to rip his head off, is he? Damn, I actually thought he was trying to rip his head off. He actually is going to... Oh, he's strangling him. I was going to say, he's actually going to rip his head off. Wait, is he using his sheath to... Damn. I like this guy. He's the right kind of insane. Jesus Christ. He's just beating him in. Everyone is horrified in the background, just watching, like, this guy, he's a little bit insane. They're all a bit scary. No one's kind of like that kind of character. You're like, well, he seems pretty cool because they're all a bit insane. Especially this dude. MC, man. I don't think to notice the cinematography is quite nice as well. Like sometimes they actually do have their nice shots, so I really do props to them. You can actually see the person who's behind everything, every single shot, really knows what he's doing, knows how to frame everything, make it look at the utmost nice. So I do respect this anime. It does actually do its job really damn well when it comes to animation. And how he just made everyone else rise up and actually murder the oppression in their actual land is actually kind of cool. And now they're all murderers. God, she looks just like the main character from Hellsing. It's really annoying. I cannot remember her name, but she looks just like her. It's got a mixture of Integra and her. We're going to find out in a second. It's going to bug me. I like how he just reading a newspaper, like as if it's nonchalant. Like he just sent those people in a different world, and he's just like sitting with a cigarette and a newspaper, like nothing. Murasaki. So I'm guessing she might be the enemy then. Easy. So I'm guessing maybe their idea, their kind of goal is kind of to take down Easy, who's doing something else. Also, massive eye in the sky. Makes me wonder why. Hey, wait, is the eclipse happening? And that was Drifters episode 2. I like it. I actually kind of, it's one of those, it's that kind of show that kind of just, it kind of like eases me in to JoJo today. It's actually kind of really, really cool on its own. I really do like it. It's surprising. Like, I was kind of, don't know how I felt going into the show because of the comedy, but as it kind of went on, like, I grew to actually grow accustomed to it. And it kind of does lend itself well to certain scenes. Granted, I think the scene when Nobunaga went into the village where the guy was actually kind of sitting at after they killed the elf dude, that comedy section didn't kind of work too well. Because it didn't really work with the scene. It maybe it was a nice juxtaposition between what just transpired to what's transpiring afterwards, but it just didn't work in the context of the scene. It didn't need to be there. It could not have been there, and it would have actually not taken away from anything. So that's the only thing I could probably say I didn't like about the episode overall. Everything else was actually pretty freaking sound. Like, it was actually really, really, really good. Like, it's one of those shows that it just might just peak at one of the best of the season. Just because of it. I don't know. It just has something that it just constantly brings you back to it. Maybe it's because of the era of coolness the actual anime has, and also the fact is our main character is completely backcrap insane. And also now I'm actually going to go and find out who the I've got to go and find out who the main girl in Hellsing is called. It's going to annoy me. It's going to just really irk my back in my brain. Army of Hours, Sortie at Dawn. Echoes Act 3. We shall find out now. It's Victoria, isn't it? Yeah, it's Victoria. Now, see, I had the name Victoria in the back of my brain. I was like, is it Victoria or isn't it Victoria? Because I know the other one's Integra, and she looks just like Victoria and Integra just came into one person. That's how she looks. I was like, yeah, she kind of looks like those two characters just meshed into one. So yeah, now I kind of got that back in my brain because that was irritating me. I was like, I can't remember her name. Didn't want to say Victoria because I might be wrong, but it was Victoria in the end. I was like, now I know. If it's a reference, I know her name. But yeah. So I'm guessing the major thing now is the fact we've got ourselves an antagonist who's called Easy, who seems like she's backcrap insane as well. So that's kind of interesting as well. The other thing to really notice, the one thing I actually quite liked, it's the fact that the actual elves themselves had a dialect they were speaking other than our main characters. They're actually speaking their own dialect. I actually kind of like that in certain shows because it just tells me these people are different to our main characters. Yeah, it's kind of evident in the way they look, it's evident in the way they kind of act, and it's evident in the world they live in. But having their dialect there does kind of add a lot to the actual show as well, because it just shows me this world's living and breathing. It's not just the same as ours. So it's actually kind of interesting. It might not make much sense to a person who's kind of listening to this right now saying, what the hell is this guy speaking about? It really works for me. I really do like that kind of thing. So hopefully what I just said there does make sense. Because I just do like the idea that they actually have their own dialect. It's not just, they've gone into as well and speaking Japanese as well, because otherwise I'd be sitting there going, they have their own dialects. It's actually kind of neat because I can't remember the anime I watched that they exist in their own world, but they still spoke Japanese, and I thought it doesn't kind of work well for me. I can't remember it, but it's because they actually have their own dialect. It just proves to me this world's living and breathing. It's different to our own, so it's actually kind of cool. But again, the major kind of draw is the fact is the animation. The animation is bloody fantastic. Pardon the pun, like blood, isn't it? But it just really, 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 really works for me. As I said before, during the actual episode itself, those extreme close-ups of the faces of our protagonist and everyone else really looks bloody nice. Like, it's one of those things that it just kind of draws you in because of it. It just kind of adds a lot to the anime. Because sometimes certain shots would take away from the anime, but they know how to actually frame their characters, frame it in such a way they actually can still see the background, so it adds a lot more to it, so you actually know what's going on still, and it looks extra cool because of it. So it's actually really, really nice what they're doing with the production itself, because I thought maybe going into this, maybe it might not be the best looking show in the world, but it actually proved me wrong completely, so I do respect that. But as I said before, the major thing that I don't like, which is only in certain cases, is the comedy. Like as I said before, excuse me, the comedy is the only thing that doesn't really work too well for me. Other than that, the show, Jesus freaking Christ, this chair is squeaking whenever I move it. Other than that, it really works for me. It actually really, really does work, because the comedy itself isn't awful. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's one of those things that sometimes a show that's kind of bloody serious has comedy doesn't work, but here it kind of does. Here it really damn works. Well, actually not in some cases. What am I even saying? Whew, okay, let me reiterate that statement completely. What have I just said? Okay, in certain serious shows, comedy does kind of add a lot of kind of like breathing space to what's transpired before, but it needs to work in the context of the scene. You can't just throw in comedy for the sake of comedy because you need to kind of allow a character to have some, or allow the audience to have some breathing space. You can't do that. That doesn't work. So in this context, in this case, the show sometimes does put comedy well into the show, but that scene after can't speak. This is why I edit out my videos. Basically, when our protagonist actually took out the elf, and then the elf kind of commander dude, and then allowed the actual villagers to take out the commander themselves, that comedy scene off that didn't work because it didn't work for what happened before. It didn't ease into the comedy. It just went full whack into the comedy, and for that reason, it took away from the scene before. If it was implemented a lot better, then that scene wouldn't be so bad. But because the comedy was implemented so poorly into that one scene, it took away from the scene before a tiny weeny bit. But there were cases where the anime does incorporate comedy really damn well. So it's not always at a loss. It's just they need to kind of fix that problem. They need to kind of fix what they think works in the context of that. They can't just do that for the sake of doing that just because they want comedy in the show. They need to kind of sit down and say, does this work for the scene or doesn't it work for the scene? Because if they put it in there and it completely breaks the scene, then what's the point in the scene before? Because it just completely destroys it. Because you had seriousness, you had this kind of heartfelt moment of these elves taking out that person who's putting up this oppression for so long, and then you put Nobunaga and the other dude into the scene and completely ruin it. It just doesn't work. My headphones off before my before my headphones fall off my head. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's because of that. Comedy is a subjective term. That's the problem. Comedies tend to be subjective. You can honestly say, well, yeah, for me, it really damn works. And I can honestly say, well, that's all right for you. It does work for you. But in the context of the scene, it doesn't work, if you get what I mean. That's what I'm trying to get at. It needs to fix that problem that it doesn't know when it doesn't need to have comedy. Like, it needs to have comedy every so often that it kind of just breaks the kind of tension, breaks the mood, breaks the scene on top of it. But hopefully that actually can improve it slightly, because I can see they might just do it, but because of that, it just kind of, it loses some points for me. That's the major thing. It just loses some points because I feel like it doesn't need to be there. This can get along by it being one fracking edgy show, and that would be completely okay, and also freaking awesome at the same time. But just adding the comedy into it just breaks it slightly. It's almost as if they needed it there because otherwise it wouldn't appeal to everyone. That's the other thing I kind of know. It's one of those things that I feel like they put it in there because they wanted to appeal to as many people as possible, so the comedy kind of works in that context. But it just doesn't, because they don't know when to implement it. They don't know when is the best time to put it in. So maybe as time goes on, they actually will kind of calm down with the comedy, because I feel like it's only the one thing I don't like. Other than the fact is, I still want to know what the hell a drifter is. I'm getting constant Gmail. Yeah, that's the only thing I just don't like. It's just that, but it might improve. It might actually change as time goes on. But I kind of have this area of worriness if it doesn't. I feel like it's going to be the major thing people don't like about the show is the comedy, because sometimes it really damn works, other times it doesn't. But overall, freaking fantastic episode. Like, from a damn good, I can't remember what I'm saying. From an actual animation standpoint, from an action standpoint, everything was completely stellar. Nothing was out of place. Everything really worked for me. So that was the larger thing. I quite like where the story is heading now with the introduction of the antagonist. So hopefully as time goes on, it actually might improve further. So, I don't know. I have high hopes for the series. I really do, because I can see the series going places that I really do like. So yes, with all that said, I have indeed been the driver. If you have enjoyed the live stream as a whole, and you do want to leave a like, do leave a like, because indeed it does help me quite a bit. If you have enjoyed my content as a whole, and you do want to leave a sub, do leave a sub, because indeed it does help me quite a bit. But with all that said, I have indeed been the driver, and until next time, I shall see you guys later. Bye for now. Side note, if anyone's actually still in the comments, I will still be here until the video processes. So if you guys want to give me your opinion on the show itself, then so be it. I will stick in the comments. So see you guys then. Bye for now.